Hello folks, I'm Ed Overstreet and welcome to the Night Sky Imager YouTube channel. It's early. Alright, let's get started. I'm imaging the sun live, so let's get out and look at it. And I said we're going to get outside and look at it. There we go. Right at the present time, I am imaging using the Solar Scout, and I want to bring this up a little bit because I've been kind of watching these three sunspots. And I want to take a picture, and I want to make sure wrong keys. And the reason why I'm putting the capture area, well, I lost it. Is I'm going to have to create some flats for this capture area. And I'm getting some drift. But I want to take a couple of pics of this real quick. And then, too far. Let's come back down. Perfect. And let's take 1,000. frames. This is a video, an SER file. Someone watching my channel asked me why I was using 8-bit, and I had no idea why I was using 8-bit, but I was, when there's so many different, there's thousands of more shades, from 256 to 65,000 shades of gray when you move up to 16-bit. So more contrast. The trade-off is that you'll have to use an SER file, and that's fine. There's actually more data in the SER file than the AVI file, so I'm told. But let's take another. And after we take a couple pictures here, I'm going to zoom out and let you see the full sun using the Solar Scout and a 1600 ASI 1600 camera. Okay, so let's go back to let's go out to 2640 by 2640, and we want to go from a zoom of 175 to auto, and let's bring, let's see, we need to go east and now south. In a few minutes, well, I was imaging this area right here because I was watching it earlier this morning, and these flares were really lighting up. A lot of movement. And so let me get my histogram and make this a little easier for you to see. And so let's get an image here, and this is 2640 by 2640. And let's take, you see my frame rate went from 65, I think it was, somewhere in that neighborhood, to 13. This is a large file. Let me move this north just a little bit and west. Nope, east. And let's go south a little bit. All right, I'm working fast before the clouds come because they're promised to show up pretty soon. All right, let's knock off 500 frames. 1,000's a gracious plenty. This is a live view of the sun. Quite a few spots now. These darker areas here, aren't solar. Those are dust spots on my optical train. My optical train has a lot of glass from the sensor to the IR UV cut filter to the quark chromosphere, and then the elements in the refractor. Now the elements in the refractor, although it's a quad, don't play as big a factor, but it's normally dust on the sensor. And let's take another one. Let's move this over some, though. We're running out of real estate over here, and I bet you there's some problems. So that's east, right? Nope, west. Let's bring this down here so I can see what I'm doing. Let's stop right there. Let's go north a little bit. And let's take a pic. I haven't brought up the comments. It's a work day. I don't expect to be too many people on, but I do have the comments brought up. If you have any questions, try to answer them. But I am not an astrophysicist, a solar specialist. I'm a wild man with a camera and a telescope. And some solar hydrogen alpha filtering systems. All right, we're done with this one. So I'm going to change telescopes. Let me see if I can find the gear I'm using. Hang on just a second. I think it's possible. And let me go. I'm looking at windows you guys can't see. Okay. Tell me you can see this. And these are the two telescopes that I'm using. Right now, the one on top is the Solar Scout. And the camera begins the optical train. And then attached to the camera is the IR UV cut filter. And then there's a device that has, it looks like a plug plugged into it, and it is. It's providing power to this hydrogen alpha filter, and I can control the bandwidth of this by a knob right on top of the quark chromosphere. And then there's a 60 millimeter refractor. Now keep in mind, it is a 60 millimeter refractor, but this quark chromosphere is 4x power. So you're getting a real zoom effect by 4 times the 60 millimeters. So that's one of the reasons why at 60 millimeter you're seeing such a large area of the sun. Then below it is an Astrotech 65 EDQ, and it has a moonlight focuser on it. And working the other direction, it has a quark chromosphere, an IR UV cut filter, and the camera on top is the ASI 1600. I never really intended to use this for solar, but it does a good job. It just has a slow frame rate. But for the Scout, it just renders such a high contrast, good image, and I love it. And then I just have to deal with stacking artifacts due to it's a slow frame rate. And then the bottom telescope, I'm using the ASI 174 monochrome. And again, I really never intended to buy this for solar. Had I bought a camera for solar, which I've never done, it would have not been a cooled camera. There's no need for it, and they're far less expensive. But it's what I did. Now, this is an old picture of this setup because I'm using rig runners. I haven't used a rig runner in 5 years. I've been using the Pegasus Ultimate Power Boxes for my data and power. So that's what you're looking at. And let's move back to trying to move back to me. See if I can. Yay. And we're still on the sun. And while we're on it, I'm going to take another capture, and I'm going to lower the, I'm going to drop the exposure down. I was looking at my histogram, and I'm clipping some data, so I'm going to bring this down. It's not going to look nearly as good to you. It's going to look too dark, but it makes for a better picture. So let me knock one off here, 500 frames, and when we're finished taking this picture, then we'll switch telescopes. I will. We're still working on the 500 frames. I am using an equatorial mount. Getting feedback. That's because I don't have my headset on. I'm sorry. So you were getting feedback too. And we're done there. 1 second before we switch telescopes. Let me move me kind of out of the view here. And let's go to cameras, and let's switch to the 174. So now we are, let's check my histogram. That looks good. My field of view and is auto. Now this is a 336 millimeter telescope, and then the multiplier of 4x really pops a zoom on you that you have to manage. So let me move this histogram back out just a little bit. I need to work on focus because I haven't booted this one up just yet. And but let's just go around the sun for a minute. The focus is manageable right now. And let's just look and see what we've got. I'm going to speed this up by going 8 times sidereal. Okay, now we're going to go north. You can tell the dust is not moving when the sun moves. That's because it's stuck on my sensor. There's a kind of an active region right there, and I'll come back and get a picture of that. And you are looking at the sun live. This was where I was imaging. These are the two sunspots that I had when I first started this stream, and it's already quieted down, but there was a lot of fire going on between those two sunspots. Filaments just really, really active, and I kind of missed that, but that's okay. The sun, we're in the solar maximum. That's about an every 11 to 12 year period where at the solar maximum you have the most active uh, uh, the sun will be, and then that lasts for a year or two, and then you start sliding into the solar minimum where you rarely see a sunspot, and so it's time to get as much time on the sun as I can, and I try to. Keep on moving around here. Up, let's move it down. This is a nice size filament right here, screeching across the sun photosphere. This surface here, they call that the photosphere. Photons are about to leave it, which are the very particles that strike my sensor and render an image. Those photons start at the center of the sun, and they bounce around with fusion and make their way to the surface. It takes around 100,000 years for that to happen. And then as soon as they hit the surface, it takes about 5 minutes for them to reach my sensor. Pretty cool. Wrong way again. I think we're back where we started. So what I want to do now is I want to overexpose this, and I want to see what's going on the rim of the sun. So I'm going to go up to my exposure. I'm going to break this up to about 25, and I'll bring the gain up to about, let's go to 200, and that's good. All right, so we have some flares on the sun surface, on the rim, and we have another one here. And those are pretty easy to bring out in post-processing. In fact, it's real easy. So that you can do the surface and the flares all at the same time. I have yet to figure out what's way the sun's going to go. But so far, there's not a lot going on. Well, there is here. This is a pretty active area. Let's see if we can make that pop a little more. No. So far, that's the most active area, though, that I've seen on the rim of the sun. Oh, ice flare. Here we go. Now, this is a doozy here. Let's see if there's anything else. Then I'm going to come back to that. No, wrong way, Edward. So we still have that one. Let's head over to that flare and let's take a couple pics. And let's this might be an area for our time lapse. Let's see if there's anything going on. All right, let's bring the exposure down now. Look at the surface. Let's go down to about, that's fine. And then let's drag the gain back down to maybe 100. One of the problems I'm having to run into is the fire in Canada has created a haze of smoke that's high. It's high in the sky. You can see it though, and it's making it hard to focus, and it's kind of a tough nut to crack. Until it goes away, it's just not going to be. It's changed my exposures. Normally, I work at a gain of 100 and an exposure of 8, but what I'm losing is due to that smoke. Now, let's bring us down a little bit. Let's get those 2 spots there, and let's come over and down. Let's stop that. All right, I'm going to frame it that way, and I still should have, there it is, really low. Let's see, I may have to go up just a tad. All right, let's change this. Let's change this just to the sun. I know that's the Astrotech, and let's take 1,000 of these babies. Oh, dang on, let me double check. Let's stop this. It's going to be a mess because I have clipped everything, so I need to change my exposure. Let's go down to go down to 10. Let's bring it up just a little. There we go. And let's knock off, I want to cancel. All right, now let's go ahead and take 1,000. I'm going to open this up and go to 6.7, sun, and I'm taking ping files. I'm going to take SCR files. All right, let's just go ahead and delete what I've done in the solar. I didn't realize I had ping files. I was taking it just a. Nope, those are good. I got videos. All right, it's just on the Astrotech. All right, we got 1,000 taken, and so When you're Green Cat, when you're mentioning what offset, um, I'm I, I'm not sure. My exposure is around 12 and my gains around 110, and the offset uh, that defaults with the ASI is 51. It's unity at 51, and the uh, gain is, I think it's 101 for the, pretty sure it's 101 for the 174, but it's set at unity. And I don't know that offset would make uh, a lot of difference. Do you think it would by varying it? Because I'm not positive. All right, where is offset? Is it under image controls? I don't use any cooling. So here's gain. It's at 146. Uh, drop that down to 100. And I don't see anything there that would represent offset. Oh, okay, brightness. Okay. Um, well, I got it at 0. So let's move it up to, say, at least 51, because that would be offset, wouldn't it? That's exactly what that would be. All right. Thank you for bringing that to my attention. Gotcha. All right. So it's at 50. It's at 50 now. And let's see what else. See, I'm learning. And I'll let you see what else I got. I'll open those up. There's no cooling. And then I have the moonlight focuser. So the moonlight focuser is just so handy. I'm 78. I have macular degeneration. My eyes are okay now, but they're not as good as they were. And so I have, there's no way in the world, uh, regardless of how many towels I throw over my head outside, um, there's just really no way in the world I can really see the sun on the outside laptop, uh, the clarity so that I can manually focus. And that's the problem that I'm having with the Solar Scout. And that is, it has a helical focuser, and I have to do that outside. Then I run upstairs in the home, and where I have a large screen iMac, that's my workstation, and I use a program called Splashtop to talk to the outside laptop, and I can see the screen outside, and I can adjust the focuser for the Astrotech using moonlight controls, but I don't have that benefit. So when I'm doing the Solar Scout, I'm making those little adjustments, and I'm running upstairs to see, now, is that better or was that worse? And I just have to settle on something that looks okay. Now, seeing really is pretty decent today. Um, it actually is pretty decent. Let's process one of these and see what we have. I want to make sure this, I've got some drift because this telescope is not polar aligned. It's close, but I've got a lot of drift in deck and RA too. A lot of backlash. This is an AVX mount and by Celestron, and it works for solar if you manually babysit it, but I would hate to do deep space imaging with it. I don't think I would have much success getting the guide benefits from this cam from this. Uh, not saying that it can't work, because a lot of people make it work. That's just I use different mounts for deep space. Okay, let's go wrong way. Let's go west some. We're going to take a picture and then we're going to process it and see if we can bring the prom out. And let's go north, because I know for a fact, let's stop it about right there. And let's make sure that I've got the prom. So let's solar flare. Now it's down at the bottom, but look at it's well, it's everywhere. I got a little bit at the bottom, and I got a little bit up there. So let's go ahead. Let's just see what happens. Let's don't take the uh, do, 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 do. I have no idea what's going on. I need help, you guys. It says it's finishing capture, and I didn't know I was taking anything. So this is interesting. I'm just going to, when in doubt, this is crazy. What have I done? Let's see. Any ideas? Hey, greetings, Mocha. I'm primarily looking at the problems I'm having with my imaging to look at comments. But welcome everybody. Glad you're on board. I'm trying to take a picture pause, and this is all dead up here. So I've done something. When in doubt, just close it. Oh, writing buffered frames. Discard. What is it? I must have taken. I'm going to go ahead and delete. I'm going to go ahead and close this out. Hang on a minute. I'm going to just shut it down. Let's go to Task Manager. And let's find SharpCap. And let's end the task. Bingo. What have I taken? I'm just curious. Just a solar scout. I have no idea what I did there. I do not spend a lot of time on SharpCap, and there's so much I don't know about it. Sequence Generator Pro is what I use for deep sky. Sure wish it had some means of doing video. I'm going to bring up my 1600. This is the Solar Scout, since you said you had one, and I want to change. Well, this is fine. I'll move it over here. I just switched cameras. I've got the Solar Scout. Let me go down here. And sidetracked, and move this histogram some. Bring the gain up some. And anyway, this is the telescope that's riding on top of the Astrotech. This is a Solar Scout. I love it. I've had a lot of fun from taking pictures of the full disc to going in like 16 by 40 and really zooming in on like sunspots. And I just had a lot of fun, and it takes outstanding picture. And part of it is a 1600 camera because it's just an excellent camera. But at any rate, let's move back over to the 174 and let's take this picture finally. And let's take a 500 frames and just knock that off real quick. Let's process it and see what we got. Okay, it's done. I didn't take a flat frame, but I think I can flat it out with the frame I took earlier this week. So let me bring up Auto Stacker and let me open this image. What was the percentage? I saved 20%. That's a gracious plenty. D drive. Okay, there's the image. I'm going to use my control click key or mouse and let's just hover over that. Let's see if I can find a flat. Load master flat. And let's go to, I think I took flats on the 5th. Nope. On the 3rd. Yep. There we go. And watch the magic. Well, wrong flat because that's okay. Let's go ahead and analyze it. And while it's doing its thing, we'll go back outside. Let's take another quick capture. I'm going to move it north a little bit. I want to make sure I get that solar flare. Let's stop right there. And do I have it? Yeah, there it is. Okay. Let me see what my, oh, look at that histogram. Terrible. Better. All right. Let's take another 500. I have the ASI 533 mono and color camera, Green Cat, and I really like that. I really do like that. I show you while this is processing. One good thing about being live, you can go crazy. Let's see. Let me bring up my Astro Drive 2023 up. And we'll go to, I'll show you something. You're probably not interested, but this is a time-lapse movie I did of the sun on the 5th, I think it was. No, this is the project. I don't want the daggone project. Let me see if I can find the movie. Where did I do that? May. I think I put it in solar flares. Yeah, this is the. Now this is the one that I did this on the 3rd. Time lapse. Really, some cool stuff was going on down in the bottom left corner. At first, all I was watching was the activity on the rim, and in fact, I wasn't paying much attention. But if you pay attention to the photosphere and you see all the cool movement with the plasma, that just blows my mind that I can sit in my backyard in Spartanburg, South Carolina, and with modest cost have a system that I can image the sun. Uh, and then when you add the fact that for the most part I don't know what I'm doing, uh, it makes it really kind of cool. But this was very active. I love it when these sunspots are going nuts, and I just and there's all kind of swirling and stuff going on, lighting up. And I like that as much as I like the activity on the rim. Anyway, let's go back to AutoStacker because it ought to be. If it's not, it ought to be ready to. Oh, look at the quality. I don't pay attention to that too much, but let's go ahead and set a grid. I always use a grid of 104. That's just 104 pixels by 104 pixels. We're going to place the grid, and it's placing it where it has data. This is all blown out here and would be cropped away. So let's go ahead and let's just keep 10%, which out of 5, it's 50 frames. Scene is pretty good, and so for what I'm going to do today, that's enough. If I was going to do a time lapse, I probably wouldn't keep the 10% because each frame adds to the time lapse, but it isn't as nearly important as if you were doing planetary, where you take 15,000 frames and keep 15 or 20% of them. And frame rate's not nearly important with the sun. Okay, let's just close this out and let's open up. I don't use Registacks too much for solar or lunar. I do use it for planetary. If you don't have the curves up, then you click on this little quiggly. And so let's go to Open Sesame. Today, capture 10%. There's our image. Let's get rid of this part here. Okay, this box is the area that if you make changes, they'll reflect in this box. I don't have processing. I got a slow computer, but it's fast enough to do this. So I just select and process all. That box goes away. And the first thing I'm going to do is see if the prom showed up. And in order for me to do that, I'm going to put an anchor point about right there on the curve. I'm going to drag this up. And I'm going to have to bring this down. I've got a little activity here, and I can't see this, so that's a bummer. I'm going to drag this further on down, and this just kind of contours the curve. That's all you're really doing. That's all I'm doing. And then it's just, all right, then if we bring up, I usually run this up to 2.4. You can use your slider, and this goes up to 1.4, and this goes up to 1.2. That's both Sigma and unsharp mask, and of course you'd have to put a crop in there. Anyway, that's a little bit too sharp for my taste, so I'd probably drop the probably bring the deconvolution down. This does, the algorithm that runs deconvolution for IMPPG is second to none. I've never seen anything like it. I've taken images from PixInsight that I want to deconvolve, and I've taken those over into this just to run deconvolution on it. So I'm just super flat impressed with this algorithm, and PixInsight folks ought to borrow this and add it at any rate. Okay, let's close this out. That's pretty much how I process it. Then I take it into Photoshop. And by the way, I'll show you a trick. You probably already know it. But when you're running AutoStacker, if you want to go to color, and this is a mono camera, but I can select force RGB, and it will convert your image. And if you're doing a batch, it'll convert all of your images into RGB images. So I'll go ahead and open an image, do this again, show you what you can do then, and we'll analyze it just like we did before. Let's go back out to our, while that's doing that, let's go back out to SharpCap and look at our live view of the sun. And let's move around again, see if anything's going on any different. I'm going to take a picture of this. So let's bring the sun back up. And let's knock off 1,000 here. Let's go back out to Auto Stacker, and I didn't even put the box. And let's make this 20%. It's a little better stack. And then did we take an image? Just take another image. I'm surprised the clouds haven't because they're coming. We're supposed to have rain all afternoon. IMPPG Green Cat's a real good add-on for me. I think I think first, I don't know if it's Chuck Aub or Woodland Hills. I've learned everything from YouTube videos, and I encourage everybody that does this, that really likes, unless you're in love with it, astro imaging. I wouldn't fool with doing YouTube videos, but I encourage everybody to become a YouTuber. It's fun. I don't have many subscribers, and I won't have, but what I do have, I share what I know, and I enjoy doing that. I have no illusion. I'm 78, retired a long time ago, and I'm okay financially. So I mean, I'm not on here to make any. I don't even know how you do it. I guess you sell advertising. But at any rate, I would like to reach more people only because I learn from them, and maybe they can learn from me. But that's how I've gotten what I know, is from watching the Dylan O'Donnells, and Adam Block is by far, and Warren Keller and Peter Prolak and Ron Beecher. And then I started in like 2009, and there weren't any YouTube videos. It was, 2009, 2008 was when I started doing this. And there weren't many YouTube videos. Harry Page had a training session for, I don't know, it's Photoshop and PixInsight. And that's when I bought it. I think it's 2009, 2010. And that's how I learned how to process. I remember taking my first deep space photo, and I was going to show you. Somebody mentioned the ASI 533 camera, and I got sidetracked. Oh, before I do that, let's go. You can tell I'm really sidetracked. All right, that finished. So let's go to IMPPG, and let's open this one up. And we went to 20%, didn't we? Yeah. Let's open this one up and let's select and process all. And we got a little more maybe we could work with, but it isn't. Yeah, you could probably do a time lapse with this one. This one does have some possibilities. There are some possibilities with this one. So if I knew I wasn't going to have clouds, I didn't put the flat to work, but if I knew I wasn't going to have flat clouds, uh, I might consider doing a time lapse just to get this and those, because this is going to be active throughout the day. But it is what it is. I was going to show you though. Let's go to do. Uh, let's see, May. On May. By the way, do you guys know what the oldest star known in the observable universe is? And if you don't, everybody needs to image it just to say they've imaged it. They first thought that it was 16.9 billion years old, which makes it older than the universe. And they thought, well, now that can't be. That doesn't make sense. So newer instruments since then have been at work on it. And they now say that it's, I think, 14.6 billion years old. And it's called the Methuselah star. And it's real close. It's only like 900 light years away. And I imaged it. I haven't processed it, but I have imaged it. And it's HD 140283. And it's in all your catalogs. If you're in Stellarium, you can look it up. Starry Nights, you can look it up. Sky Safari Pro, you can look it up. If you're using Sequence Generator Pro or AIS Air, it's in the database. So you need to image that one, and just so you can tell folks you got it. I have imaged it. I haven't processed it. It's just a star, but I intend to frame it because people will ask me, what's the oldest thing you've ever, or how far back have you looked, and what's the oldest thing you've ever imaged? And I say, well, this star right here is as old as, almost as old as the universe, if not older, because they're still not sure, confirming its age. But anyway, it's called the Methuselah star, and it's HD 140283. Now you know. Here's the 533. I took M101 with the 533. And let me bring up an image. I'll bring up the one I made for the web. Okay, and this is where the supernova 2023, I thought this is where it was going to be. But this is the 533 camera, and it just does a great job. Well, that's not the supernova. And now I took this like... when I heard about the supernova, I started looking at the 101 images that I had taken in May, and I pulled them up, and I thought, that's got to be it. That's just got to be it. And but it ain't it. So I've taken it since then. Let me get rid of that. We didn't have any clear sky nights for a long time, and so isn't that the case with all of us? So somewhere around 6. Where are we? Here is supernova with the 533 on 6-2. Here it is. Let's see if this one has it. Lost it. Where'd it go? All right, there it is. And what just preview just okay. Here it is, right here. This is the supernova. What I was pointing to before was right up here. But I took this again with the 5.3. This isn't a real. It was a terrible night to be imaging. We still had clouds, but I was determined to. I was determined to see if it was still there, and it's still there, and it's very, very bright. So that's M101 with the supernova. If you haven't taken it, it's still out there, from what I understand. Um, so let's see. What else? Did I take it? I took it with the 183 camera too. I was determined to get it. So this is the supernova with the ASI 183, and there it is. This is a better image, and I took them both the same night. With the 533, I was on a Vixen, which was at 625 millimeter. I took the reducer out because I wanted a closer field of view, and I didn't care about the stars in the outside. I wasn't concerned about having a flat field. I was concerned about getting this. So I used 625 on the Vixen ED81S, and and I took it with the ASI 533 mono. The first one you saw was with the ASI 533 one-shot color. But this is with the ASI. So this turned out, I thought, okay, given the clouds and the short amount of imaging time that I had. But that is a much better rendering of the supernova. So I got it. And all right, let's go back out to the sun and see if it's drifted. Oh, we're done. And I think we did process. Did we take an image of this? Let's see. I don't remember. Nope. Let's take an image of this one. And we're taking 1,000 frames, a 1,000 frame video file. If you're just joining, this is a live view of our sun. It's done. So let's bring it up in auto stacker. And oh, I don't want that. What am I doing? Hold on. Hold on. Is this it? No. It's under sun. So let's bring up auto stacker again. And we don't want capture. We want sun. And we want that one. There we go. Okay. I'm just going to analyze. I don't care about the bounding box. And let's see what happens. In the meantime, let's go outside and look at the Solar Scout. I want to do something with the Solar Scout I haven't done. And let's go back and put the field of view to its native field of view. So this is the actual native field of view of the ASI 1600 camera. And the Solar Scout. And it takes at a rate of 11 frames per second. So, I mean, the camera was not made for planetary or solar lunar imaging. It just wasn't. Well, it's a deep sky camera, and I have two of those. I bought one when it first came out, then I bought the Pro, and when it came out later, and I really can't tell the difference between the two. Let's go ahead and take, let's overexpose this and see if we got any where the rim activity is. There it is, where it was in the other image that we took. All right, let's take a short exposure and let's go on up and move this to 26 by 40. And let's take one of these. Let's see what our histogram looks like. That's good. And I have flats for this too somewhere. Let's see if we can find them. All right, let's take a quick, oh, ding dong. I think I took a 500 frame. I take, oh, 1,000. Stop it. Stop capture. Stop. We don't want to, well, it'll be for here to eternity. I can grow a beard taking a, let's just take 200. All right, we're off and running with 200 frames. And we'll process this. This scout, wait till you see, well, we don't have to wait. I've already taken some scout pictures, so let me bring one of those up. Auto stacker, open, go back. Although I think I took the, what I took were, there you go. Let's just pull any one of those up. And let's bring this down so we can see what we're doing. And let's bring this over. And let's analyze it. Let's cancel it. Let's see if I can find a flat for the scout. I take flats all the time. I just haven't had a chance to take them today. So let's see if we can't load a flat from flat, none for the scout on this. Dang it. Nah, I've deleted them. This is an external hard drive. It's a 2 terabyte drive. And that was the time lapse. I think I even processed the time lapse in this on this drive. And I don't. So we'll work without a flat. And we'll go ahead and analyze it. Oh, hush, Charlie. My dog's right behind me. He doesn't leave me. Okay, let's go back out and look at our sun. I hate watching these things, and you do too, work their magic. By the way, standing ovation for Emil Krykamp, who developed this. About 2 years ago, he was on Woodland Hills doing a presentation for them on how to use this. I picked up a lot of pointers when he did it. If you can find that video, it's really worth watching because he goes into every one of the settings and what they're designed to do. I've forgotten most of it. I think I've remembered the parts that are important for me anyway. And I don't know that I understand the logic behind it. But consider what he has done and when he did it. This is really AI. If this isn't artificial intelligence, I don't know what else it could be. This program analyzes the frames in a video and it sorts them by quality. Then it stacks them into a TIFF. Can you imagine trying to do that manually? It's brilliant. And man, he's just brilliant. At any rate, enough of that. Let's go back here and we'll head on over and see our, going back to our 174. And let's Let's change the field of view to a 640 by 480, and let's knock off 1,000. We only did 200. Let's knock off 1,000. Let me I'll have to do a flat just because this one great big dust spot's right there. So we want to do 1,000. And let's change this field of view, make it a little bit bigger because I'll get this over here. Or we can, yeah, let's make this and we are awful hot. So it's time to bring the exposure down. Let's go there. And let's take another 1,000. Let's go back out to auto stacker. And let's, now I'm probably going to place 200, a grid of around 200 on this one. And, yep, looks fine. Okay, and then let's save, let's see. We did 200 frames, so I want 10% will give me 20. Let's, about half of them are better than 50%, or in the upper 50%. Half of them are in the lower 50%. It looks like in the top 25%, we have, okay, it crosses right here. So this is 25%. That would be 12.5. That would be, so only about 8% of mine are in the top 25% right here. 10% maybe that are in the top 25. So let's do 15. Let's do 15%. Won't be many, and let's stack them. All right, back outside, and let's take another one. And I am going to process this one and then call it a day. Still working. Large file. And I'm going to knock off one here. This is just sun, native. We're going to take 1,000. Yep. You're looking at a live view of the sun from my backyard. Spartanburg, South Carolina. Let's go back outside and see. Still working. These take a while. This is such a large bloody file. And this has took 117 seconds to do image surface stabilization, 30 seconds to find a reference frame. Then it aligned the images at 16.7 seconds. Now it's stacking them into a TIFF file. I was going to show you a while ago where I was going to process one of the color images and show you how you can do that. Daggone it, forgot to do it. Well, I can't stay on track. Too many things going on. It's still working, so let's go back outside and look at the sun live. Wonder if there are any problems on. Oh yeah, little activity there. So let's take a couple of these. Let's knock off another. I'll put some of these up on my Facebook page if they turn out. This is dirt right near this sunspot. And when it's a smudge like this, that's not on the sensor. This is really close to the sensor. So if I start searching for the culprit, it's going to be either on the sensor itself or on the glass protecting the sensor. And I usually just leave that alone because flats remove it. So why danger the glass by trying to remove it? It's been my experience. I can sometimes do more harm than good trying to clean glass. I retired in really in late, in the middle, in 2005, 6, 7, in that neighborhood. I slowed down a lot. And I had I've always been an avid photographer, and I've shot sports pictures for a high school, a local high school where my kids attended and my wife worked. And I've done that since 1987. And that kind of grew, and from that I was asked to do a wedding here and there, and so it got to be where my wife and I found ourselves running a photography business. And so I still take around 100,000 pictures a year, mostly sports related, and mostly around the high school. But I take other events as well. And I clean my glass all the time. I clean my sensors, DSLR sensors, quite a bit, and without much of a problem. But I've not had the success with these Astro cameras as I have, and I use the same tools that I get from Nikon. I'm a Nikon shooter, and no, I haven't gone mirrorless. I'm too old to invest in any more cameras, and I'm not going to change to Sony. I've got a fortune in Nikon glass from f4 200 by 400 lens all the way down to the fisheye, and none of those are cheap. And yeah, I know they can adapt to the Sony, but to get the full benefit of computerized Sony effectivity, like you have to have their glass. At any rate, I'm not changing. If anything, I'm gonna start selling some of it. And I'm really slow down at the school. There's just a 78-year-old man running up down the sidelines, and I get rolled about every year during a football game. All right, let's go back and see if our done. Let's process this one now. I'm not going to do any more after this. IMPPG. And let's load the image. Let's find the image to load. And Scout 15. There it is. And let's process. Let's process all by going to edit, select and process all. My goodness, are those sunspots. We really need a flat for this one. Now, the difference between the ASI 174 and this ASI 1600, instead of a 1.3, instead of a 2.4, I'm going to go up to 4.0 on deconvolution. Look how long it takes to run it. 16%. Here we go. All right. So I'm going to bring sigma up to about 2.4. Just drag it. And unsharp mask up to about there. And then let's go ahead and see what's on the surface. Bingo. And there's the Solar Scout. Needs some work. We got some fuzzy sky over here. We don't have any fuzzy sky over there. So you have to almost spend as much time in IMPPG trying to bring out both the surface and the rim activity as you do capturing in AutoStacker or stacking in AutoStacker. Part of this is also only keeping 15 frame. Let's see, I took 200 and I kept 15%, so that's 30 frames is all I'm stacking. And I could have used more. I'm losing my data in the center here. I'm gonna reset it. It's not even there. Let's bring unsharp mask. Let's just reset everything here. And start this from scratch. All right. I don't think I'll be able to. I think this is, I just need more data. Yep. You can't create data where there isn't any. I really didn't look at my histogram to see if I had blown this thing up. Well, I didn't. At any rate, this didn't process very good. And let's blame something. So let's blame it on the fact that I didn't have the 200 frames. I only kept 30 of those. Alrighty. Well, it is what thou is. So, and we're back out at a live view of the sun. And I'm going to sign off for now. It's been fun. I am surprised I haven't been bombarded with clouds, but I think that's about to happen. And I will catch you guys later when the skies are clear and I can image.